Hello and welcome to Anime Memories, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about Peach Girl. When I first started watching anime religiously back in 2007, one thing I discovered is that I love romance. So I was always scouring forums and websites looking for more romance anime to watch. And this was one of those titles that kept coming up. So I was expecting something good at the very least, but what I found was one of the most enthralling, emotion-filled roller coasters that I have ever seen. Momo is an avid swimmer, and because of this, her hair has become bleached and her skin is tanned. Her looks have given her the reputation of being a skank despite being very inexperienced in the area of romance. She wants her introduction to love to be with her longtime crush, Toji. But that gets all screwed up when a popular boy named Kairi kisses her out of nowhere. The story follows Momo as she tries to figure out where her heart truly lies in this love triangle. When I initially started rewatching this for the review, I became a little bit concerned. The first 10 minutes was just Momo prattling on about the boys she likes, and it was extremely tedious. But then in came the introduction of one of my favourite themes, bullying. I was bullied pretty heavily as a kid, so I will always cheer for a bully victim in anime. And what made me cheer for Momo even more is how she handled it. By kicking ass! The way Momo deals with her situation is way better than how I would have dealt with it. Sure, there are times where she completely breaks down, but after her emotional outburst, her determination kicks back in. She never gives in, no matter how many people call her a bitch or a whore, she will always continue moving forward. Now, I cheered more for Momo here than I did any other anime protagonist in recent memory, and that was due to the amazing villain, Sai. Now this might seem a bit unusual, but Sai is my favourite anime villain. Yep, I like her better than Light, better than Johan, even better than Dio, and I will explain why. Firstly, she is at the centre of the bullying against Momo, so I very quickly began to dislike her. But what pushes Sai to such a high level for me is how amazingly effective she is at it. Her plans are unbelievably cunning and intelligent. At times, I just couldn't hate her because I was in awe at how great she is at being a horrible person. However, these moments were fairly short since I loathe Sai. I don't think I've ever felt this much anger towards any other character. Sure, I've gotten mad at characters before, but with Sai, I was absolutely furious. I always give respect to anime that managed to get me emotionally invested, and I wanted to see Sai fail so bad that it was almost pathetic. But even after all of that hatred, the anime somehow managed to make me feel sympathy for her. Some of the experiences that she goes through later in the story are things that you literally would not wish upon your worst enemy. I have to give massive props to the writers for making a character that's extremely likeable and extremely hateable at the same time. I also feel the need to praise this anime for using the relationship between Sai and Momo to make a statement on inner beauty. Humans have always focused way too much on physical appearance, and this issue extends to Japan as well. Momo is constantly looked down upon because in Japan, dark skin is demonized. On the other hand, Sai is held up as the epitome of feminine beauty despite being a complete bitch. The fact that Sai would get praised just because she has light skin is another reason why I became so angry at her. As cheesy as it might sound, this anime is a great example of why you should judge people on their actions and not their looks. In terms of the boys, they were both likeable as well. Toji was kind-hearted and courageous, while Kairi was charismatic and hilarious.
What on earth are you doing?
Just putting out my scent, marking my territory.
Although, I ended up liking Kairi just a little bit more. Toji was cool, but at the start he's a really nice guy, and at the end, he's still just a really nice guy. Kairi, on the other hand, receives a lot more development, and he changes significantly throughout the story. Now, I've already mentioned that I'm a big romance fan, however, I will admit that they have quite a few common issues. One of these issues is they often use contrived reasons to keep their characters apart. There's actually a great example of this in the first episode. Here, take a look.
Go check it out.
With how romance anime normally go, you would expect Toji to misread the situation, run off all upset, and then avoid Momo for like 2 or 3 episodes. But take a look at what actually happens.
Wait, something's not right. Momo, what happened?
Toji! I found him in the pool! Hurry, call an ambulance!
I was so grateful to finally have a show where the characters weren't complete idiots. Sure, they do get emotional, but most of the time, the cast act in a logical and level-headed manner. And even if some of the drama seems contrived, it can usually be led back to size manipulation. This means that when the characters get driven apart, there's a very serious reason for it. Some pretty dark stuff happens here that would cause a rift in any relationship. Although, after all that praise, I have to say that it does get a bit contrived towards the end. I feel that a lot of the drama in the later episodes could have been solved if the characters just talked to each other. Luckily, this only affects a small portion of the show, so for the most part, the drama is handled really well. Another common issue with romance anime is that they usually won't allow their characters to be together until like the very end.
You know, I don't hate girls who have dark tans. In fact, I think I like you too.
Wow, that was quick. By getting the leads together early, this leaves more time to discuss the problems that usually come with teenage romances such as jealousy and emotional outbursts. This also means that the anime isn't drawn out with useless will they won't they drama. In fact, the plot didn't feel drawn out at all since the pacing is fantastic, making this very easy to marathon. However, I have yet to talk about the biggest criticism of this show that has caused many people to flat out hate it. This anime apparently is a bastardization of the manga. The manga has 18 volumes while the anime only has 25 episodes. Since they were very short on time, a lot of plot details didn't make the transition. From what I heard, the biggest victim in this was Toji, which actually makes a lot of sense since he doesn't receive much development. Even if I love it, I am willing to concede that it is most likely a horrible adaptation. Although, if you're like me and you haven't read the manga, none of this is going to matter. To me, it never felt like anything was missing. The story seemed complete. When looking at it on its own, the anime's story is captivating, even if it isn't all that faithful to the source material. Considering that this was made 10 years ago, the visuals are a bit outdated. However, it still holds up fairly well. The animation can get extremely stiff, but it was good enough to where I could watch it and not notice that it was 10 years old. For something that came out so long ago, the art style is surprisingly colourful. It isn't quite as bright as the anime you'd find today, however the backgrounds were still really lively and they helped the characters stand out. Also, the character designs resemble the style that was commonly found in 90s anime. This is most likely because the manga started in 1997 when this style was still popular. Overall, I really liked the way the characters looked. It was a nice change of pace. Then we have the music, and the first song that you're going to hear is the opening theme, which is fucking awful.
In my mind are pictures of a summer day.
The lyrics are cheesy as hell and the singer has this high-pitched nasally voice that makes it sound unpleasant. The Japanese version isn't anywhere near as annoying, but the lyrics are still pretty cheesy. On the other hand, the ending is beautiful. It's this passionate ballad that perfectly captures the feelings of love that are displayed in the show. With the rest of the soundtrack, I didn't really care one way or the other. The background music wasn't bad, but I don't think there were any songs that made me feel anything significant. Peach Girl is one of those series that I feel has been forgotten. I really hope that with this video, I'm able to give this anime just a little bit more spotlight because it truly deserves it. So, if you like romance, I highly recommend it, especially since it's only like 20 bucks on Amazon. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment, and if you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. In fact, the plot didn't... Fuck. Okay.